Lifeboat Live. We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics. Ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat. Period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. Good evening, everybody. Happy Halloween. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and on the other side of the glass, as always, is my partner in crime, Mark Wages. This is my costume for the night, people. Let me show you my my Halloween costume. Can you get that? This shirt is the costume. Now shut up and hand me the damn candy. Right? Pretty much got that covered.
Where's the candy corn at, man?
You know something? Look, I've been pounding candy corn now for about 3 weeks, but I've moved on to the bigger stuff.
There you go.
Where, you know, there's a lot of articles today in the news about this wing conspiracy or that wing conspiracy. Pick a side that you don't like, saying that we're trying to freak everybody out ahead of Halloween, that there is no chance whatsoever of any drugs ending up in any kind of, packaging, and it's not something you should worry about. What kind of idiot writes that article? Seriously, what kind of idiot writes that article? You know, if you're going to err, absolutely, Leslie, welcome aboard. If you're going to err, wouldn't you want to err on the side of caution? You know, we're not making this stuff up, right? You know, drugs have been caught in packaging. That's how they're doing it. Virginia, good to see you. They are absolutely packaging this stuff in candy. Now, we've said it 100 times. We don't think they're trying to poison kids. However, the odds of a kid coming across something that looks like candy and accidentally ingesting it is pretty strong, right? If they see that. So if you're if you're a mom and dad this Halloween, just bust open the stuff, right? Just take a look at it, right? They're not hiding it to make it look like nerds, right? That's going to probably have the number 30 on it. So, it's not a member of them really trying to hide this as much as it is, just a way to smuggle it. So keep your eyes open.
I would say,
people,
let me say one thing real quick.
Absolutely.
Guys, what's any different now than what it was when I was a kid and everybody was freaking out because they were putting razor blades and LSD on the back of stamps that kids were buying in the quarter machines at the grocery store or the bowling alley. It's no different. It's the same thing, guys. So
it really is.
I don't understand.
Just be careful.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
I mean, for years, the thing was you took the Halloween candy and you went down and they x-rayed it, right? Do you remember that? That was a big thing. Not when I was a kid. I missed that. I was from such a small part of the world that, we just didn't have, I had 800 people in the town I grew up in. But when I got to, a larger city and I had my own kids, when I would take my son, trick-or-treating, it was afterwards you went and you either went to the police station or you went to the hospital, and they would, for free, x-ray all of the candy. And, it's just, again, just err on the side of caution. No one's ever going to go, boy, I really wish I hadn't been so cautious. Right? Open the damn box.
Yeah.
Who cares? But I just pray that we don't hear some horror story tomorrow morning. I really hope that that's the case. And it's
And like you said, chances are we won't.
Right.
But there's still that chance.
Err on the side, err on the side of caution. And I don't think the last thing in the world I'd want is for anybody to keep their kids home. You know what I mean? I want everybody to have a Halloween. I want everybody to have a good time. Just err on the side of caution. Heather says they did that to stickers as well. They did. I remember that. I absolutely remember that.
Yes.
I have a friend staying the night, but she is sleeping. I wanted her to watch with me. Well, that's okay because we're going to record this, Virginia. So you'll be able to show this to her. And you know what? It's probably good that your friend is sleeping. Everybody needs a little sleep. I want to bring everybody up to speed on Fiona's daughter. We have, I think I told you on yesterday's live feed that the fever had broke. And she was having a very difficult time keeping down anything. She has successfully kept down a meal and a lot of liquid today. So, we're continuing to pray that we are out of it and that this is going to be. But everybody's sleeping, which is great. I know that Fiona was able to grab about 4 or 5 hours, which is awesome, and I got some more, which was really good. I have not done a rant on the Beast from the East in a while. And I do try to keep a chunk of time in between my rants. I really do. But you have to know that I spend a lot of time. I spend 80% of my time simply researching the brain and how it works with addiction. And then intermittently, I do a little bit of research on what's the new drugs coming out, where are they ending up, all of those type of things. And we know that right now, fent is absolutely the scourge of the planet, not just here in the US, but it is everywhere. And I am going to, we're going to speak about that, but you know it pretty well. The addiction that I really want to talk about today is, believe it or not, is TikTok. And I spoke about this once before on one of my rants. However, when I did, the amount of time I spent in the rabbit hole had been fairly brief. Now I have done a whole lot of research on this. And I know that when I was a kid, right, when I was 15, 16, 17, anywhere in that age group, maybe 12 up, right? If I had heard somebody like me getting ready to say the things I'm about to say, not only would I have laughed, but I would have mocked that person incessantly, right? That old man knows nothing. What is he, stupid? Sure. In my generation, it was, the devil lyrics and songs. And
backward
that was,
masking. Yeah, that
backward. Exactly. If you play this album backwards, it tells you to kill your parents.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know that to a lot of the world, this is going to sound crazy. And this time is going to be slightly different because this time I'm really going to attack this. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a little of the Ganda, but I'm really attacking this simply as an addiction. The average American who is on TikTok spends an hour and a half on TikTok a day, an hour and a half. And, it's really funny because when you start trying to better yourself, you get sober. And I was talking to someone about this today. Once you get the chemicals out of your body, right? And we're past that. And you start to look to trying to make yourself a better version of you. One of the things that all of the self-help gurus used to say back in the day is that if you took 1 hour a day and you could dedicate 1 hour a day to whatever it is that you are most enthralled with, whatever you love the most in this world, you would become an expert in that subject. 1 hour a day is all it would take. And within a year, 365 hours, you would be an expert on that subject matter. I got news for you. An hour and a half a day isn't going to make you an expert at anything. And here's the frightening thing. The reason that this is such an addictive app, and make no mistake, it is the most addictive app on the planet, is because of how this works, right? This is one of the most advanced AI programs on the planet. You know what AI is? right? That's the computers that that basically almost simulate thought, right? They're so advanced that they do things intuitively, like the human mind would, right? It's artificial intelligence, AI. The algorithm that they have at TikTok basically gets to know you better than you know yourself. And I know that that sounds silly, right? It's not. In that hour and a half that you're there, what they're doing is recording every single keystroke, not just the ones while you were there, every keystroke you've ever made on that device, every video you've ever looked up, every phone call you've ever made, every location you've ever gone to. They're harvesting all of it out of the phone. And then they're going to tailor make what they send to you to make sure that it is exactly what you want to see. Not to make you happy. No, to release dopamine. No joke. This is a hit, people. It's a hit. Now, every video doesn't give you that hit. And that is one of the things that makes this so addicting. If you went to a slot machine and you put in $1 and every time you pulled the handle, you won. Believe it or not, you'd get burnt out on it fairly quickly. I mean, the money would be great, but there would be no adrenaline rush whatsoever, right? Because intermittent reinforcement is a concept that makes gambling what it is. You go and you put a bunch of money in the machine and you're pulling it, and that not knowing if that next one is going to be a winner is what keeps you pulling. And it's what gets so many people addicted to gambling, right? It's that moment from the time you spin until the reel stops spinning, right? Where the potential is there. It could be a winner. Well, that intermittent reinforcement is what makes people addicted, and it's what causes the dopamine in the brain to get released. So what they're doing on TikTok is they have set this up. Obviously, it's a short form platform, right? You're not seeing videos the length of what my partner and I are doing here, right? For the most part, you're seeing 15-second videos, 30-second videos, up to a minute now, right? But what we have done to the upcoming generation is we have shrunk their attention span to that of a goldfish. And I'm not being funny. That is actually a headline that was written in the New England Journal of Medicine, right? Not making that one up, people. You can look it up. We have reduced our kids' attention span to that of a goldfish. So if they don't get exactly what they're looking for in 15 seconds, they don't have to stick around, right? They go to the next one. 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 This isn't the first platform to try this, by the way, right? If you remember back in the day, there was one here in the US made in Silicon Valley called Vine. Vine. 6-second videos, right? And then they did the long form, which I think got up to 16 seconds or something like that, 18 seconds. And it was popular. People were all over it. And then it just went away, right? It just seemed to disappear right about the time that this app started to really come on in the US. Okay. A little history on this app. There were 3 different apps, right? Or 3 different companies in the big red beast from the East, right? And these 3 companies got together. In 2014, there was a company called Musical.ly. Musical.ly is the platform that became TikTok, right? That was the platform. Now, they didn't have the concept for TikTok. They just had a really cool software platform already written and in place. There was another company called ByteDance, right? And ByteDance, when it first opened up in that country over there, about 1 in 10 people in the entire country had it downloaded within the first year. It was a very, very popular app. And for all intents and purposes, it was TikTok for news. That's all it was. It was going to pick the news that you wanted to hear, right? So if it were in the US, they would scan every single news article that you could get anywhere, go out in every single newspaper written anything. And you know what? If you were a left-leaning individual, that's all you're going to read. You're not going to see anything else. And if you're a right-leaning individual, it's going to give you that. It was going to tailor the news to exactly what you wanted to see. And people were taking about 2 hours a day to look at the news. Now, they knew stone cold fact that was about 3 times what the average was, right? Prior to this app, nobody spent 2 hours a day on news. So they decided to try to expand this thing. And they saw Musically as the platform that they could do that with. So they started doing these dance videos, and they released something that they called Douyin, right? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that is their version of TikTok. It's the exact same thing. There are a couple of subtle differences, right? One would be they don't allow any of the stuff that you see on ours in their country, right? The really sort of over the top, videos that, really glorify sexuality or glorify drug use or anything that goes against what they call moral standards. And in that kind of country, moral standards is whatever the hell they say, and you are going to abide by that, right?
Highly censored.
Absolutely. The most censored people on the planet. But you know what they do have, which is bizarre? Okay, they have this AI over there has facial recognition software. And every single person who uploads a Douyin, which would be their TikTok video, gets into that system. So let's say you're watching one over there, right? And you see Mark Wage's face come up and you go, isn't that the dude that does the space weather stuff? You tap on his face and everything that he's done is going to get pulled up. Well, they believe that they've taken this to a new level. They believe that facial recognition software can tell you a lot of other really interesting things, like whether or not the person whose face they're looking at is happy or sad. Are they on a uptick emotionally, or are they on a downtick emotionally? Are they educated or not? They believe all of this they can tell from just scanning, what they call biometric scanning, right?
It's kind of like a technical body and language reader kind of thing.
Yeah, it's astounding in its accuracy. It really is. It's astounding. Now, you say, well, it's a good thing we don't have that over here. Oh, no, we have that over here. The only difference is you can't tap on Mark's face, right? They have not added that to it because they don't want the entire country to go, holy crap, they're scanning our biometric stuff. Go and read what you allow them to do, right? They're not trying to pull one over on you, people. No, when you download the app, there's this little thing that you get to read, right? Which is goes from here to Mark's front door. And if you were to read every single one of those small prints, it basically says that there's nothing that you've ever done on that device that you don't give them access to. Now, why is that scary? Because as Americans, we say, okay, every time I get a Gmail, they read it, right? They look at my Gmails. They look for the word Rolex. They look for the word watch, right? And then I get all kinds of ads for Rolexes and watches. They're not reading it. They're scanning it, right? And they have a computer, an algorithm that does that, right? The AI does that. So what difference does it make? Well, the difference is this. The beast from the East, that country, they have a policy where if your business really starts doing great, right? They can just come in and go, guess what? It's ours. It's ours. They can also say any info that you have garnered from your business, we want you to hand it over to us. And by we want you to hand it over to us, they mean you don't have a choice. Right. They show up and they say, I want it, and you hand it to them. That is government policy in that country. So we have opened up every single closet in America for them to look at every single thing. And you say, you know what? I'm not doing anything that, what do I care if they see? Where it gets scary is not that, they're going to blackmail you or they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They're just going to choose what you look at. They're going to choose what you think. And if you don't believe that's the truth, people, then you don't understand the concept of what AI is doing, right? The targeted way in which they deliver exactly what your brain is screaming for. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys a little bit of an example that everybody, I think, is probably going to start noticing if you haven't noticed it already. You're going to find, a lot of us, we got all of our devices are synced, all right, because it makes our lives easier.
The Internet of Things.
Yeah. I mean, you got your own little network. It's what you're doing. So when you hop on, let's just say YouTube. Let's use YouTube because we're here, and you're watching something, or you even say it. Okay, if you're syncing all that stuff together in your house, I can't tell you how many times I've had a conversation with my wife in the garage. Okay, and I'll come back in, and the first thing on my recommended list when I turn my TV on is what we were talking about. It happens. It's a thing that happens that they don't even hide. They know, they tell you this. This is what they're doing.
No, you're absolutely right. And a Highland girl says Facebook is the same. Make no mistake, every platform, right, is harvesting your information.
They're sharing it with each other.
And they're sharing it, they're selling it, they're doing all of that, right? The difference is this one learns, right? This one learns on the fly, which is not something that Facebook's does. Facebook's is, and I really just spent a ton of time reading what the difference is. Same with the big red button, right? There are algorithms, right? So if this happens, it means that they like this. If that happens, it means that they like this. This thing is looking at you going, boy, he really smiles when he watches that kind of video. And it took him 1/1000th of a second to hit like. Normally, it takes him 2/1000ths of a second to hit like. Pump more of this into him. And it really is that frightening, right? It is that unbelievable. And they just continue to tailor exactly what it is you're looking for. And you go like this, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. You say, if they're that good at it, how would you ever see a video that you're not going to like? Oh, they're doing that on purpose.
Yep.
They're doing that on purpose. They could make it so that every damn video you see is exactly what you're looking for. But then you wouldn't have intermittent reinforcement, right? And eventually your brain will turn off. After 4 or 5 hits of dopamine, your brain is going to go, okay, yeah, he's just going to continue to watch this. We're not going to keep doing this. But if you're putting it off and putting it off, right? Expecting it. And there it is. Here's the good one, right? And then what they'll do is they'll stretch the distance between those likes longer, right? So it's going to take you 5 minutes to find that nugget that you're really looking for, that you're going to share and say, isn't this awesome? They knew you were going to like it instantly. But they'd like you on that app 3 hours a day if they could.
Yep.
Right. And how many times have you, look, I have never been on TikTok. Never been it. Right. It's not something that I have any intention of doing. I'm frightened by it. But I have an Instagram account. I haven't used it in a long time, but I had a pretty good sized Instagram account at one time. Right. So, but I would go over and they link TikTok videos directly there. Right. How cool of them to do that. Don't you think? I mean, well, here's what happened, people. This company, ByteDance, started buying up shares of stock in every social media company that we have in the United States. Crap loads of it. Enough to get people on the board of directors. This has been a plan that has been going on for a long time. Like you see things, you know, like Facebook, right? We watched the movie that they made about these kids sitting in the dorm room, or Steve Jobs in a garage, right, in California. No, that's not what we're talking about here, right? This is really something different. This is an engineered plan. And people really ragged on our last president, whether you like him or not, right? They ragged on him pretty heavy when he said this should not be in this country, right? You know, India pulled the plug, right? Yeah. There are tons of countries that are going, well, no, we're not allowed here. Now,
you know, the old USSR, the guys over there right now.
Yes.
They did the same thing.
They did do the same thing. And you know what's odd? They don't have a problem with your kid getting bombarded, right? But they're not allowing it to be turned on in any government facility in the US. If they catch you on TikTok using even your personal phone at a government facility, you're done, right? It has gotten to the point where it is a fireable offense. Yeah. I wonder why that would be.
You know what? You know what's funny about that, Tommy? Is that over there, the big red machine, what you're just talking about? Our military bought crap tons of drones off of them.
Yeah.
And
genius.
Yeah. So what do you think's happening there? I mean, come on now. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. I mean, these are not just, you know, hey, I'm gonna go out here and take a picture of the street. I mean, these are military drones, guys. This is real stuff. And Mrs. Dragon actually had a really good comment back there too. She said she won't allow an Alexa in her house. And
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that feel that way because exactly what I said earlier. You could just be because it's always listening. If you've got it on, it's always listening to you.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's designed to do.
Correct.
So if you say something it's going to pick it up. It's going to, yeah, that whole network thing I just said.
This is a true story. When I was incarcerated, the woman that I was married to, who was an attorney, her brother worked for Amazon. So she got one of the first Alexas on in the neighborhood, right? You'd heard about it, but no one had seen it. And she was very excited about it. And I had just finished reading an article about all of this technology. And I said to her, ask Alexa if she is ever turning over anything that she listens to you, right? To any government agencies or anything like that. And she said, that's stupid. I said, do it. Just appease me. See what it says. You know what it said? Swear to you. I'm not comfortable with that question.
Yep.
Right? Alexa says, I'm not comfortable with that question. So my ex-wife, right, said, well, yeah, let me ask you that again. Worded it slightly different. Alexa said the same thing. Third time, Alexa turned herself off.
Yeah. Exactly.
So she got unplugged and thrown into the garbage.
Well, yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not quite as scary when Silicon Valley is doing it.
Right.
Now, I don't want to be spied on. And Mr. Dragon said a great comment earlier, too, that, saying I'm not doing anything wrong, what difference does it make if they're looking at me? That is the start of giving up every right you have. Make no mistake.
Yep.
That attitude, right? We live in a country where you're protected so that no one is supposed to be able to look at you, right? We have Fourth Amendment rights. People died for that, right? Good people died for those rights. And, we're happily giving them up. We are happily giving them up, which is terrifying. Now, I'm getting a little far afield because I really do want to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I
No,
it that way a little bit.
I'm glad that you did.
Ryan,
but I have the. Go ahead.
Can you hit Ryan's comment there real quick? And when it says, "My first year handing out candy sober, no parties. Last year I was in rehab. Year before that I was wasted." That's awesome, man.
You know what? I'd kind of like to think of this as your first party, bro.
There you go.
Honestly, like I would really like to think of this as the first, real partying at Halloween. There's something great about seeing a kid and his innocence coming to the door when you're not wasted, right? When you're not on drugs. It's just a much better thing. Congratulations. How cool is that, man? Honestly, awesome. That is awesome.
Yep.
Hey, Rip Curl Readiness. Good to see you, man. That is just really, really cool. That made my night. So now, if we get back to just the danger of the app itself, right? Forget the fact that they're spying on us, because they are massively. But the danger in the app is, and let's just pretend, suspension of disbelief, that the AI isn't choosing things to make you watch that are not in your best interest, right? Things that make you hate your country, things that make you question the most basic things that no one should ever question, right? Things that make you hate other races or make you hate other genders or any of that crap, right? They determine what you're looking at. Suspend all of that for a second. And then let's just pretend that this is a cool little dance thing, right? This is just it's an entertainment. If we left it at that, this is scary as hell, right? It really is. Last year, they had challenges, right? And unlike a lot of other, like the big red button, they designed these things, right? It's not necessarily a user. This was coming directly from the big red button. So we send out the challenge. That way, we're guaranteed it goes viral, right? We're going to send it to everybody. Now, everybody starts doing the challenges. The one where, and you got to be really careful how you say this one on the big red button, but there were people doing this number, right? And making it very difficult to keep drawing in deep breaths.
Yeah.
And the idea was to do that until you were no longer awake. And that killed people, right? Multiple. Another great one, which made a hell of a lot of sense, was let's see how much diphenhydramine we can take. Because if you take enough of it, it will make you hallucinate. That is the active ingredient in the stuff you take when you get stung by a bee, Benadryl.
Benadryl, yep.
So, beautiful girl. You can look it up. Beautiful 15-year-old girl that, did it, took the challenge. When you're that age, you really believe you're indestructible. You believe that there's no tomorrow. And you guys know what FOMO is, right? Fear of missing out. Seems not a big thing, right? It's a huge thing. It is a scientific, absolutely massive thing among everybody in our country, not just the youngsters, although it's way worse for them. But they see all of these people having fun, right? All of these people on there. And you know what? They all look glamorous. They all look happy. Do you know why that is? Look this up if you think I'm playing. Because they had an order that went out across the entire company, 110,000 employees, by the way, worldwide. Went across the entire platform that said, if anybody is not beautiful, right? Don't let them go viral. Don't push any of their stuff. If they have, a scar, if maybe they're handicapped in any way, right? Or we think that they're a little overweight, or we think that they're a little poor. Take a look at the backdrops, right? And if the backdrops, let's say it's not a mansion, right? It's not, let's say it looks dilapidated, or maybe it's a place that's got a car in the front yard or whatever. Don't do it. I mean, yeah, they can make the video. No one's ever going to see it. They're going to ensure that happens. Right. Now, they got busted for this one. Oh, I'm making this up. They got busted for this, right? It made the news. It was all over the place. And they paid a $92 million fine. Let me tell you something. For that company.
Yeah.
Now, why, you say, what happened to Vine? Why did they Vine had no way to take what they were doing and turn it into money, right? A lot of companies have a problem with this, right? Social media is great at bringing all kinds of people together. Now, how do you monetize that? How do you turn that into money? Think about the genius behind TikTok, right? What have we been doing our entire life in this country? We have been looking at companies trying to sell us stuff in under a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it.
It's all instant gratification.
From the time you're 2 years old, you're looking at commercials, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. And all those are 30-second to 1 minute videos, maybe 15 seconds if it's a really short commercial, just trying to sell you something. Now, imagine you've got this AI that works that good, right? They can tell, regular, like someone said Facebook is just like that. Facebook can tell if you're heterosexual, if you're gay. This app will tell how tall you want the girl, right? What color hair, what color are her eyes? Do you want her eyes closer together or farther apart? I'm not kidding you. It's this creepy.
It's
right?
It's amazing the algorithm that they use. It really is.
It is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So now I run a company and I go to TikTok and I say, I want to run an ad, right? I only want it to go out to people that make over $150,000 a year. I want them to be obsessed with physical fitness. And I can just go down the list, bop, 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 all the way down the list, right? I can describe my perfect customer, and they'll make sure that nobody but my perfect customer sees it. And you know something? You might not even know it's a damn ad.
Yep.
Right? Because it just pops in with the 30-second spots you're already watching.
Right.
And they dress them up to try to make them look like they're not ads. It's not like you're going to see your normal McDonald's commercial in there. You're going to look at what just looks like a TikTok vid, but it's not. And they have turned this into billions of dollars.
It's crazy.
Billion.
It really
is.
Now, let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Mystic Dragon, and we'll talk about Christopher too. I want to say that before we go back. She says, "I'm happy not leaving the house for days," and she put LOL. I have sewing and ring fit to keep me busy. That's kind of their goal, though, Mystic Dragon. They want us tucked away in our own little corner so they can keep us under control. If that makes any sense.
No, absolutely no doubt about it.
Too much on that subject. That's kind of a hard one to move towards. But Christopher, he was just sharing with the chat, telling me that he did some trick or treating with his kids and ended up breaking a 3-month sobriety. Had some beer.
You know what? You're here, and you're telling everybody. And I'll be really honest. The fruit of addiction is lies, right? Is covering up. So to come here and pop into the chat and tell the entire group that you had beers when you didn't have to, you could have come here and watched. No one would have known. Can't smell your breath from here, right? No way for us to know. The fact that you come here and you say that is really huge. Now, I don't know if you've caught, how many of these, because I see you in the comment section, but I don't stare at the comment section. So sometimes I don't know how often somebody catches the videos, but we talk about good relapse and bad relapse, right? There are great relapses. A great relapse is where you figure out why you just did what you did, right? Don't waste this. Don't waste it. Don't sit and think, man, woe is me. Why did I do this? No, you know what? A couple of beers probably isn't going to be dramatic in its effect on you. You know, every hour your liver is going to get rid of 1 ounce of that. So in about an hour, when your head's really getting clear, sit down, take a piece of paper and a pen and write down what was going through your dome. You were out with the kids. You were bringing them around. What triggered this? What made you think that tonight was the night that you were going to drink? Because if you figure that out, my man, then this is the best relapse ever.
Yep.
Ever. Because it'll stop.
Yeah, don't run from it. Put a focus on it for a second. You know, go sit in a room by yourself and focus on that at least for about 10 minutes. Be like, hey, why did I do this?
Yeah.
And just ask yourself
don't
that.
waste this. Do not waste this, because this is the best opportunity in the world for you to really cement sobriety. If you figure out what it is that caused that, then chances are it's not going to happen again. Right? Plain and simple.
Well, the fact is, you come here and you said it already, and
it's huge.
That's a
huge.
That's the step. Honestly, it really is. That's the step. That's how, you know, it's a really good, easy way for me and Tommy to, you know, kind of pick up on things. When you guys do that, we know that we're not, you know, talking to the wall.
No question.
You know, if somebody come in here and just says that just for no reason, and just comes in here and that is a cry for help for most people. And it's a true cry for help. It's not a fake type of thing. And don't get me wrong, there's trolls and all that. I'm not going down that
I know.
road.
And you know what? And we have that, and it'll continue. But the genuine article is easy to spot.
Exactly.
It really is. And you know, we've said this so many times that it almost, you know, feels like rote. But the opposite of addiction is connection. If you had come here, and I don't mean necessarily watching us, but if you had engaged with any of the people on the boat before you picked that first one up, it never would have happened. I promise you, it never would have happened.
Didn't Steve have something similar?
Yeah, and he pumped the brakes, and it was, you know what? It was a very good thing for him. You know, he literally pumped the brakes like mid drink, and it was, you know, I think it was something that left a very indelible mark. I would call it a good relapse. There hasn't been another one since.
And as far as the guilt, Christopher, we usually don't focus on this because we like to focus on the other end of this, but the stats are 80-20. Okay, 80% of people relapse, whatever your addiction is. Okay, now we always try to focus on the 20%. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that number to come up, but we have to be real when things like this happen. Don't think that this is like something that is unique to you. Definitely.
And the 20% that make it, the 20% who get sober and make it, will fall down 6 times on the way there.
Yep.
Right.
Most of
3 times, 2 times. Right. This just the nature of the beast. When it's really, really bad is when, you know, you just sort of hold it inside and you don't share it. You don't come here and you don't let it out. It's
we start off in the 80, don't we? Well, almost all of us start off in that 80%, and we move to the 20. That's just kind of how it works. You know, it's just kind of odd. You know, but that's really...
No, it's absolutely what it is. But proud of you for coming here. Oh, little kids running up to the door. Proud of you for coming here and sharing that. And this is honestly, the connection is where, you know, the more connected you are, the less chance of this happening again. Right? Reach out before you take that first one. Cool. Always.
Did you read that, Lauren?
Tamara, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tamara. That's awesome. That is awesome. Did you read Lawrence's comment? So this isn't brainwashing; it's brain rinsing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. Now, I know we're gonna run out of time here, and I would really like to trash this app just slightly more.
You got about 20 minutes. Go for it.
One of the other things that really has gotten to epidemic proportions, and never take my word for any of this, right? This is so easy to research. If you just, you know, you Google any of the stuff that I'm saying, you're right, Bev. It takes a big person to be honest. There's no question. It's a huge. You can research any of this, virtually anything that we're talking about. But one of the fastest growing phenomenon on that platform is people faking illnesses. Right?
Yeah.
This happens so often that there is a what do you call those things where everybody can show up on one platform?
Like a
We've
love
talked
bomb
about
or
no.
a
It's
link or
it's a different platform than the one we're on right now, and you can set up little rooms where 1,000 or 1,000,000 people or whatever can go in.
Discord, like a Discord.
Thank you. There is a Discord server for cringe fake illnesses, right? This happens so often that there is a site that just highlights it. I mean, a Discord server that just highlights those and talks about it. It has 400,000 people in it. Right?
I'm not trying to laugh, but my God, that's so cringe itself.
It's unbelievable, right? It is unbelievable. There was a guy that faked autism. He had 600,000 subscribers, and there were people on other platforms saying this is the best of what social media is. You know, this guy is just so positive. In one of the videos he made, somebody had stolen his bike, and of course he got a couple of donation platforms set up so that he could take Venmo and he could take, you know, all of these other ways of bringing in money. Now, his plan, according to him, was to hit 1 million people. When he did, he was going to do the big reveal and say, I'm not really autistic. Guilt got to him, you know, to his credit, guilt got to him. And when he was at about 600,000 people, he shot the video. You can go and watch it. Shot a video where he said, I'm not autistic, but I knew I could do this. And I started feeling bad once I started taking in the money. No problem up until that point. No problem to all of the people who are living with autism, who's basically mocking for entertainment purposes, right? Or all of the people who are living with, you know, any kind of condition. And this is one example. There are people faking cancer. There are people faking every single illness that you could think of. This is literally an epidemic, right? This tells you a great deal. And, you know, I was reading a psychologist who was writing about this, and he said in his article, how could this happen? You want to know how this can happen? Feed a person's worst proclivities, right? Send a person, you know, if the thing about this AI is this, if you get there and you're 52 years old, right? And you're really aroused by girls who are 13. There's a sickness, right? That's got a name for it. That's what that is. The AI doesn't care. It's going to give you exactly what you want. And it's going to give you more of it than you need, right? This is the nature of this. So people who already have, for lack of a better way to put it, a screw that's a little loose, the algorithm pushes that farther and pushes that farther. You know how many people have already decided to end their time on this planet while going live on that platform or making a video on that platform? A guy did it in South America. And when that went live, right, when that video went up and he did what he did, it was 5 hours before the good people at TikTok contacted the police. Do you know why? Because they wanted to make sure that it didn't go viral, right? So they wanted to make sure that they were covering themselves. So they came out with all of these videos talking about how heartbroken it was. They needed to make those videos and have them ready to roll before they were going to contact the authorities or anybody else. This is a sick platform, people. It really is. And I know I sound like Tipper Gore from the 80s, right? Rock music is going to be the death of everybody. I feel like the crazy old man hacking on the new technology or whatever. But this is a really sick platform. And you don't have to take my word for it. There's a great experiment that you can do, right? If you have that platform already downloaded on your phone, right? You can obviously make multiple accounts. Make one and tell it you're 13, right?
And see what you can go look at. Yeah.
Tell it you're 13, not what you can look at, what they send to you.
Okay.
Right? What they're going to shove down your throat. because they're going to send you sex, they're going to send you drugs, they're going to send you violence.
Yep.
They are absolutely eroding the fabric of this country. They are doing everything within their power to make sure that kids don't respect their parents, kids don't like their country, right? This is what they're doing, right? This is a Ganda machine run by our biggest enemy.
Doing all that, and they're filtering out all the good stuff. That's crazy.
Absolutely they are.
That's crazy.
Absolutely they are. And that's not to say that there aren't people there who are really, working hard to put great content out, because those people exist. Believe that. But you're right. They're burying that. And not only do they decide what you're going to look at, they decide when you're going to look at it. How long are we going to keep you there? And you know how long they're going to keep you there? Just long enough. Because the AI knows that for Mark, that's a different period of time than it is for me. And that's a different period of time than it would be for SG or for Stacy Michaels or anybody else on the boat, because we all have a different threshold. Our attention span is going to be considerably longer than would be the generation that's coming up right now, the goldfish generation, fortunately. So it's going to learn how fast, because if you all of a sudden close down the app, the AI goes, we blew it, right? We blew it. We needed to hit him with another hit of dopamine. Next time we go 15 seconds sooner, or we go whatever. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's crazy, man, because, there's something else, too, that plays into this, too, is the fact that in Canada now, they're using what they call a social score. Just like we have a credit score, they're using everything that we're doing here as a social score. And they're putting you into a category, and they're using it to actually decide whether they're using it to give you loans. They're bringing all that stuff back into the table. Whatever you're watching and stuff, it's going to affect everything that you do.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like in our country, we have things like the 3 credit reporting bureaus, right? And it generates a score to let a bank know whether or not you're a good risk, so to speak, right? On whether or not you're a decent risk to loan money to. In their country, they determine whether or not you're going to be subversive. How likely are you to fight the government? And you get a score. And the incredible thing is, if you go and look it up, you will find people who say, you know what? I'm cool with it. There needs to be some kind of a, organization. There needs to be, some kind of rules in the society. And this score just helps us look at.
Yeah, that's not. Don't even.
No, it's so great though. Of all of the things that I have ever been accused of, that is absolutely the best.
It's crazy, man.
If the people at the FBI could see that, do you know how hard they would laugh? If he knew how many times the FBI has arrested me.
Yeah, that's
classic.
That's what's so funny about it. That's exactly what we're doing. We're laughing at it. It's so obnoxiously just completely wrong.
That really is funny.
I wasn't even going to say nothing. I was just going to hide it and keep moving.
I just looked down and it said he's with the FBI. I thought, holy hell, that is the funniest.
You're Cabal too, just so you know.
Oh, well, okay. Well, see, that one I didn't see coming. I mean, it's a little more obvious with the FBI because they cut me checks. Cabal thing, I wasn't really up to that. So
easy to say when there ain't no accountability wall there, for sure.
Right. When you look at this in its totality, right? We already know the mods are awesome. This is great. We have the really fantastic mods here. God bless you guys. When you look in its totality, our thumbnail today said we're at war. And we are. Make no mistake, we're at war. And for a very long time, the Beast from the East has said that they have their 2049 plan, right? You can look this up. This isn't like some secret. The 2049 plan. Now, they don't talk about what it is, but they have it written on walls, everything else. Let me tell you what the 2049 plan is. They intend to destroy us without firing a shot. And they're doing it. They're sending over drugs to kill massive amounts of Americans. We have lost more people to their poison, right, than we did in Vietnam, or that we did in the Gulf War, or that we did in Afghanistan combined, right? We have lost more people to that than we lost in World War II. Terrifying, right? But that's what's going on. They're killing our people. We already know that fent is the biggest problem in the country. And it's not, if it, the proof of this is how many things it shows up in, right? Look at this from a destructive point of view. They were killing 100 people a day, 150 people a day. And the powers that be said, you know what? We're only killing people that like opiates, right? We need to get this into more parts of the society. So what do? They start to pump this out to, to people who are doing meth, to people who are doing coke. There are Adderall pills now that are showing up with fent in them. They are doing everything within their power to destroy this country. And you know something, people, you either are going to wake up to it or we're just going to let it happen. Sad but true. We're going to let it happen. Do you know that I can send you, please do. Absolutely. If there's an article, Vicky, absolutely send it to me, please. This is one of those situations that there are so many people that are going to say, it's just a fun little app, right? It's just a fun little app. And, but that stuff's only killing drug addicts, right? If they weren't doing drugs, this stuff wouldn't get them. All of these little things, right, that people say that just sort of sweeps things away. When this administration came in, they said, we're going to do something about TikTok. To their credit, they did, but they haven't, right? It's been on hold and it's been on hold and it's been on hold. And while it's on hold, they're deciding what your kids are going to be experts at, right? We started this out by saying, if you could give me 1 hour a day for an entire year, you can become an expert in whatever you want. I don't care what it is. You pick a subject. And if you put 1 hour a day into that, you will become an expert. What are they going to decide our kids are going to be experts at?
Yeah, no kid. That's
hating their parents, hating their country, right? Hating themselves.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's frightening.
It is, and and I think that we've talked about this, I guess for a minute, but over there they're very much willing to let things start and build over generations to make something happen. We're not doing that. We don't do that over here in our society. We want something, we want it right now, and they've learned that. So what are they doing? They're using that exact thing against us. And
yeah.
It's disgusting all at the same time. But if you think about it, it's a very smart tactic if they can get themselves to, because they really do. When they do something like, if they say they're going to do something for their kids, that's what they're doing. They're setting their kids up.
Yep.
They don't care if they ever see a reward from that. And we can take a lesson from that, honestly.
The other thing is that their comeback to this, when we say things like, you're destroying the minds of our kids, right? They say, are you kidding? Right? Hollywood has been exporting to the entire world your culture for how long? They just realized that one of the reasons that we were one of the most powerful countries ever wasn't just the military, wasn't just the amount of money we made. It was that, we really do export, who and what we are as a country to the entire world, right? Hollywood sent out our movies. I don't care where you go, you can watch Hollywood films. They came to realize that if they want to win this war without firing a shot, then there's a systematic thing that they're going to do. And one of the things is they are going to be the new voice for what the world gets to look at. They're going to decide what the world is going to see. You want a guaranteed prediction? I'll tell you a prediction. This platform is going to do 5 more things in the next couple of years, and one of them is going to be full-length film, right? One of them is going to be, 2-hour videos, whatever. They are going to threaten the big red button, and they are going to also make it so that you never got to leave the house. You want to shop, you can do all of it from right there on the app. And then they'll just have DoorDash bring it directly to your door, and you can just keep watching the videos all day long and getting that hit of dopamine every 45 seconds, every minute and a half. They'll decide. They'll decide. That's the nature of this, and it's where we are. And you know something? I know it sounds nuts. I know it does. I absolutely know it does. But you know something? It takes about this much research to look into every single thing I just said. It takes this much research. Don't take my word for it, right? You know I'm not lying to you about the fentanyl overdoses, right? We know those numbers are low. If anything, we are not in the ballpark. We are low on what we're telling you, just because those are the numbers that they put out. But the other end of the spectrum is our kids.
Exactly. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
No, I was just going to say that something I haven't actually talked to Tommy about this, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to try to start incorporating like the links to the information where we get it from. We could put it in the description.
I love that idea. I really do. I love that idea.
That way, you guys can go look for yourselves. You don't have to take what we say. Just go look.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
And a great example of that is Mark Hugel. Just saying.
Yeah, no, nobody does it better. Nobody does it better. No, for real. And I think so much of this platform, has been over there and knows it. Nobody does it better. Those guys if they say it, that they've got it footnoted and documented. But I got one for you. And I'm so glad Mark said that, because I would have forgotten this. Tonight, I want you to do a little experiment, right? Sitting around your house, take this thing, get it away from you, put it 4 or 5 feet away on a table, and pick a subject that you have never even thought about talking about, right? Pick something, and spend about 5 minutes just talking out loud about that subject, right? Like throw a name brand in, talk about watches for about 5 minutes, and you watch what happens. You aren't on your phone. You aren't talking to anybody. That thing will start to bombard you with ads for whatever you were talking about. Talk about Ferraris, talk about whatever, and watch this happen, right? And I'm telling you, people, the social media has the ability to bring everybody on this planet together and save the world. I believe that. Unfortunately, that's not what it's doing right now. I think we're a little oasis of love in a sea of hate. But
yeah,
the irony is not lost on me that I'm yelling about social media on a social media platform.
Well,
that's not.
Yeah,
we're a little different, I think.
Well, the thing, that's the same thing as it would be the same thing as CNN trashing Fox or something. I mean, it's no different than that. But guys, it's just it's a big subject, and I would highly encourage people, like your phone. And we talked about Alexa, right, for a minute. You can get that for your phone too, but a lot of people have Siri, a lot of people have Cortana, whatever you're using there. That's an AI that's listening to you constantly. And what Tommy just said, I promise you pick a subject you never talked about. You talk about it out loud, even if you're in the room by yourself. Just speak your mind for a minute out loud. Talk to yourself. Be crazy for a second. And do that and wait. You don't have, you can just turn off all your TVs and everything and all your social media, your computers. Just talk with your phone sitting over there. And then, 10, 15 minutes later, get up, start turning your stuff on, and see what pops up in your recommended. Just watch.
Full of Hope says, we did that, Tommy, talking about the price of cat food. We have no cats, but we got bombarded by cat ads, etc. And Rip said, I don't know if you saw that, but Rip said over the weekend, he was out running errands and he came in and his
heart rate,
his pulse had shot. Yeah, his heart rate had shot right up. Worried about you, Rip. I'll keep you in my prayers. That's a little scary.
I think
don't take it lightly. Make sure you at least monitor that.
For sure. That's 100 right there, man. You gotta take care of it. And I think, I think Rip's wife is a nurse, I believe. So I think That's a positive for you, man. If your heart
Yeah.
rate's going kind of crazy, you might be able to.
That'll help.
That'll help a little bit. But
Seventh says, what falls in the winter but never gets hurt? Snow. I think we should leave on that note. I'm ready for a little snow this year.
yeah, I mean.
Alrighty,
I
everyone.
love snow.
Thank you so much for letting us rant. We will be back tomorrow night doing what we do. And you know what? Thanks to everybody for last night was just a great video. You guys were so on. I got so many comments of people that just said, boy, it was like the entire group was, when the group is really on, it's just like a great conversation. And last night was just awesome. So thank you. It was a great video. We will be back tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. I am Captain Tommy Scoville of the FBI. And on the other side of the glass.
Sorry. Car 54, where are you? Mark Wages.
And this is a cat in a basket. Good night, everybody. We love you.